Hi everyone, welcome back to the Nostalgic Dragon. I've been coughing, I have been having a cold, and now I'm better, so I'm happy to be here together with you. When I was planning this video, the idea was to make a Witcher vlog, just an update where I am in my reading and so on, and I wanted to focus on Geralt of Rivia, the main character. He's obviously an introvert, and I would like to talk to you about that, but when I planned the video, I realized that there are many more introverts within the fantasy genre and sci-fi genre when it comes to books. Today it's only books. And I wanted to share my experiences and knowledge about that, and I want to hear your reflections on main characters who are introvert. Are they more exciting than extroverts? If so, why? And other main characters who are in the middle, not really introvert, not really extrovert, but in the middle. Please let me know. When talking about the Witcher, this is the Blood of Elves. I'm at the time of Contempt now. For those curious on that, I'm still in Skellige. Really enjoying the Witcher game a lot, and I can see the difference between being Geralt in the video game and being Geralt in the book when you read about him, because you can play an actual very different Geralt in the video game if you want to. You don't need to be an extrovert, but in the book he's obviously extrovert, and I wanted to mention a few things that makes him extrovert, at least according to my point of view. First of all, everything he does feels very troublesome. He's not, a light character. He's not a happy character. He's not making a lot of jokes, things that's not easy for him. He's a man of few words, I would say. He's anti-social in a way. Usually he doesn't like to talk at all with people. It seems like he feels bothered and annoyed, and he feels very sarcastic in a way when he answers people. But if he wants to, he can be social. I'm reading just now about a scene or chapter without spoiling anything. He's on a social event, a party you could say, or a conference, maybe it's a better word, gathering. But actually, the whole chapter starts with him reflecting on that he doesn't know what to do there. He doesn't like to socially interact with other people. He thinks the discussions they have, when you're mingling with people, are not so deep, not in depth. It's not about certain topics. It's about how life is, and just ordinary things. How is the weather? How small talk, right? It's only small talk. He is also very reluctant in what he's doing in The Witcher. He's a monster hunter, and he does it for payment, and he gets money from it. But he's not so fond of that either, and he has this certain code that is mentioned in Bounds of Reasons, which I talked about a short story from Sword of Destiny. I talked about that with Rick here on the channel. Then he has this code not to kill certain monsters like dragons, for example. He also has other codes. So he's very strict, he's very restricted. He's not the violent, happy warrior who goes out and kills dragons, so to speak. He does it only if it has a purpose and if he can gain something on that, it seems like. He's also a very raw personality. The inspiration from Witcher is from Eastern mythology, and I would say seems like Northern mythology as well. So usually the main characters are strong and they are raw, and they are more maybe stereotypically male in a way, even though I think Geralt in a way is not that as well, because he's quite a soft-hearted man, it seems like to me. Has a lot of emotions. He hides them inside himself. He doesn't talk about his feelings, but maybe it's difficult to define what is stereotypical in a way and in a male or female, for example. But so to speak, he doesn't speak so much about his feelings, but he has a lot of feelings. So In that sense, it's not so raw, actually. He just doesn't just show it. He's also a bit confused. Why is he there? Why is he there? What is he doing? What does he want? What is his drivers? What is his purpose? That's difficult to know. I'm in the, I think, fourth book it is now, Time of Contempt. So 2 short stories and 2 first books. He feels a bit confused. He feels actually a lot of controlled by the other characters in the story. It's Jennifer, the sorcerer, and also actually Siri, I would say, seems to control him a bit, I would say, in the sense that he is very protecting for her. So that is a few introvert, well, what I would say introvert traits when it comes to Geralt. And as I said, my idea was to just focus on Geralt, but then I realized that that might be not so interesting, so I just wanted to broaden a few things to other books I have here. This is the Swedish version, but it's the Dark Tower by Stephen King. The Mörka Tornet, that is Swedish. And it's a book, as you all might know, great series, sci-fi, western, fantasy, I would say. It's about Roland Deschain, you have him here. He's a gunslinger, and he is very much an introvert, but in a different way than Geralt. I think he resembles Geralt in a few ways, but he has not this, raw power. I wouldn't say that he has. He's a gunslinger, so he's not a swordsman, so he's a gunslinger. So he has a different physical. His physical features are different than Geralt, of course. But he has this, man of few words. He's quite antisocial. He's reluctant, I would say, to be on the quest because he's searching for the Dark Tower, and we don't know what the Dark Tower is. That's one of the keys of, getting curious to continue to read the book. But one thing that is different, and I can't tell if it will continue like that, how the story will continue in The Witcher. Maybe it will change, but it's obvious in the Dark Tower that the Roland Deschain is using his companions for his own purpose. So far, I can't really feel that in The Witcher. Please don't spoil that for me if that changes. It feels more like Geralt is used, and here it feels like Roland Deschain is using others. They are members of something called Katet in Swedish, the Ka, and it's a union around this Ka. Actually, Ka means why in Marathi and Hindi as well. So that's an interesting name by Stephen King. And but as well, Roland Deschain is very, very confused. He doesn't know what journey he's on. We will help him on that as being the readers of the Dark Tower, because when we read Dark Tower, maybe it was so for me, I was on my own personal journey, so that was interesting to follow. So this confusion you can find in The Witcher, but also in the Dark Tower, might be a message for us readers to question what journey are we on. I would also say that he is sometimes Roland is a charming guy. It depends, and I think that's the thing, that you are not always, introvert or extrovert. Also in real life, I would say, but also in the books, you can change. You can switch. Geralt can obviously do that. Sometimes he's very charming and social and knows what's to say. Sometimes he doesn't. That seems more like his authentic self, and the same goes with Roland Deschain. Of course, you might not agree on me that these characters are introvert, so please tell me if you don't. I have some other people from other books, and as you know, I'm reading the Book of the New Sun, almost done, so that feels really great. This is about a torturer, civilian, also I would say a reluctant torturer. He is expelled from this guild and thrown out into this science fiction world. And he's also Uh, Maybe not an introvert, but a careful man, and he has a lot of thoughts going on in his head, and that is something with introspection and being introvert, that you usually have a very vivid imagination and a lot of thoughts on why things are in different ways. So I think Severian, though, still for me feels like an introvert person. It's difficult to know exactly how he is because he's writing this story. He's an unreliable narrator, so maybe he comes across as more extrovert than he actually is. He is also confused. It goes with this. Since he is expelled from the guild, he doesn't know, what to do. He forms his own identity. He's on a quest. He has his sword, Terminus Est, and the book centers a lot around the quest to understand, as I understand it, who he is and what is this world he's living in. Because he's lived in this very strict guild with strict rules, and he hasn't had the need to think about his own identity and what his purpose in the world is. Now he has to, because he's been thrown out into the world, and that is challenging, of course, for Severian. This is the book, very nice. And then we have the last example, and that is similar to the Book of the New Sun. It's Hadrian Marlowe and Empire of Silence. This is a tricky one. I wouldn't say he's an introvert, really. He's very extrovert in the books. But it's difficult to know what his authentic self is, because we get to follow his inner thoughts, and they seem very introspective in so many ways. So some people might, you say, pretend to be another person than he or she is, to gain social points, social status. I'm not sure if that is the case with Hadrian Marlowe. He's on a quest for, I would say, confirmation, because he was not accepted in his family for being who he was, and he wanted to do something different. He wanted to become a scholiast, a learned scholar, you could say. And his brother was also always his father's favorite, and he wants to, show that he's better. So inferior complex, right? Inferiority complex, maybe you say in English. He has that, and that forces him out on this journey, and to fight this alien race, Sealsin, or actually to make peace, but then to fight them as well, and then actually to become friends with Sealsin as well. So that's interesting. Not spoilish, because everything is written in the beginning of the first 2-3 pages of the book that this will happen. So what do you think about these examples? Maybe you have other examples. I was actually thinking about mentioning Aragorn. Everyone knows Aragorn from Lord of the Rings. Difficult to say, but to me it feels more introvert than extrovert. What do you say? So I'll pass that question to you to think about. And feel free to comment this video, and also like it and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed this, and also share the video if you want to do that. So this was the first video for a very long time. I'm happy to be here and happy to see you very soon again. Thank you and bye.